It's a question that sparked a lot of debate. Do Muslims and Christians worship the same God? Let's walk through it logically and see where the evidence leads. First, let's examine the term same. It simply means identical or not different. So, what makes something different? Different means unlike in nature, form, or quality. The criteria for determining if Muslims and Christians worship the same God or a different God is fairly simple. Are they identical or are they different? Now that we have a clear picture of each term, we can analyze the question effectively. Do Muslims and Christians worship the same God? No, because the God of Christianity and the God of Islam are not identical. They differ in essential ways, particularly in nature, character, and how God relates to humanity. I'll prove this in 5 simple points. Point 1: the moral character and nature of God is different in Christianity than in Islam. In Christianity, God cannot lie. His moral nature is perfect. God's will and his actions are aligned with his perfect nature. In Islam, Allah's will, not his character or nature, is the ultimate standard. This means Allah can do good or evil, speak truth or falsehood, whatever he wills. That is a major difference in the character of God. Norman Geisler and Abdul Salib write in their book, Answering Islam, for the Muslim, the seemingly contradictory actions of God are not problematic. The divine will is an ultimate beyond which neither reason nor revelation can go. Let's also consider a philosophical dilemma that is relevant to this point. The Euthyphro dilemma, named after a character in Plato's dialogue, asks: is something good because God wills it? Or does God will it because it is good? In Islam, Allah's will is the final authority. So if Allah declares evil to be good, it is good, even if that's arbitrary. Christianity, on the other hand, rejects this dilemma and offers a third option. Philosopher William Lane Craig explains: God's nature is the standard of goodness. He wills what is good because he is good. Morality isn't arbitrary in Christianity. It flows from God's unchanging, perfect nature. In Islam, that's not the case. Allah's will is ultimate. Point 2: the God of Christianity is triune in nature. Christians believe in the Trinity: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Islam teaches that Allah is a strict one person God. This is another irreconcilable difference between their natures. The Quran repeatedly says Allah does not have a son. This also illuminates a critical relational difference. In Christianity, God has eternally been in relationship, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Not so in Islam. Additionally, the God of the Bible is all loving towards people. Jesus died for all, and we can become children of God. The highest relationship with Allah in Islam is master and slave. Allah is not all loving, and you cannot become a child of Allah. Christians and Muslims do not worship the same God. Point 3: for Christians, Jesus is God. To reject Jesus is to reject the very God Christians worship. So, because Muslims deny the divinity of Jesus, they are not worshiping the same God that Christians are. He who does not honor the Son does not honor the Father who sent him. John 5:23. One group worships Jesus, the other does not. There's a simple answer to this question. Point 4: theology matters. I've seen a common counterpoint on this debate. It goes something like this: Muslims and Christians believe different things about God. They disagree on theology, but they're talking about and worshiping the same God. Here's a simple analogy. Suppose I mention my friend Larry, and you say, I know Larry too. But then I describe Larry as married with 6 kids, allergic to cats, and a competitive weightlifter. And you say he's single, childless, loves cats, and avoids the gym. It would be absurd to say, well, it's the same Larry, we just believe different things about him. And that leads to point 5. Logically, the answer is no. The law of identity says A is A. A thing is identical to itself. The God of Christianity and the God of Islam are not identical. Therefore, they are not the same, and therefore, Christians and Muslims worship different gods. It would be logically contradictory to understand these major differences between the two, but then argue that they are the same God. While both faiths affirm one God, the differences in who God is, his nature, attributes, and how he relates to the world are too substantial to ignore. It may sound respectful or unifying to say we worship the same God, but the facts and the logic tell a different story. When we define God differently, we're not talking about the same being, and definitions matter.